Good morning. It's Monday, February 2nd, 2026, and we're here for our county administrator update. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, commissioners. So we'll start with the most important news of the week. Tani Phil did see his shadow, so we've got 6 more weeks away.
So he doesn't know anything.
Morning.
Watched it live for the first time in my life. It was very exciting.
I'm sure it was. So,
I've never seen it. It was very exciting.
and if this is 6 more weeks of this is winter, I'm good with that. So, I did have a request from Commissioner Burgess last week to lower the flag on a courthouse to half-mast in recognition of the Frontier Middle School shooting 30 years ago. As long as I have one other commissioner that says yes, as soon as I'm done with this meeting, I'll run up and.
I'm a yes.
So as soon as
You probably can get all 3 yeses.
That's fine. As for the
Commissioner
flag
Jones.
code,
Last weekend, it's already passed, hasn't it?
What is today?
Wasn't Memorial yesterday?
I think yesterday was the day.
Yeah, so, whatever.
but I can still do it if you'd like me to.
Yes.
Well,
Okay. So I will do that. And I mean, are you planning on doing something on Facebook or no, or just?
I was hoping that maybe you would do that, because we don't have a Facebook page.
Okay, all right, I can do that. I'll do that as soon as I get back.
And then Cindy, did you want to say something, or what do you want? What would you
Oh,
like?
I just think we could, would this be the time if we could take just like 30 seconds of silence to, I don't know if this would be the one, or we could even do it during our elected official luncheon.
I'll do it then.
Maybe do it
That would
then,
be good.
just
Okay.
kind of,
Okay,
Okay.
I'll do it then.
I think it was definitely very earth-shattering when it happened
Okay.
Yes.
30 years ago.
So let's see, I'll, before I go into, I'll talk about Baker Tilly. Actually, I'm gonna talk about a couple of things and I'll let you do your clerk of the board update. So the Baker Tilly agreement has been signed. I expect I will hear from them today or tomorrow for a start date and a kickoff meeting. As soon as that's scheduled, I'll let you all know. So they said they could start right away. So I'm just waiting to get that scheduled. I did receive an email back from Michelle. Her only concern was, of course, at the end of the month, they have the state audit starting, so. But I didn't seem to think that it was gonna be really invasive with Baker Tilly, so it should be okay. Last week, I did let you know that Labor and Industries was investigating a complaint by one of the subcontractors on the CSHR building. Other than providing a few dates, we have not heard anything more. So I know that the general contractor is complying with requests from Labor and Industries, so we'll wait to see if any wrongdoing was done. Probably not, but you know. I have a walk-on item that I'm going to be bringing to consent tomorrow on behalf of Decorah. It'll be an out-of-state travel request for Decorah Anderson. Commissioner Burgess is not going to be attending the NACO Legislative Conference. The conference is paid for. We went ahead and had, after discussing this with both Commissioners Burgess and Commissioner Jones, we changed the name from Kevin to Decorah. So she'll be traveling with us as long as that's okay with the board. There's a lot to do there. Ideally, you know, we'd like to see numerous department heads attend this event. The hope was this year we would bring more, but the budget didn't allow it. Decorah and I work together on a great many things. For me personally, many ideas are born or further refined from the numerous meetings I have with county officials at NACO conferences. It truly does shape my worldview on the proper administration, and having her there for me would be beneficial. As the administrator, I'm often alone with my ideas as to how best to move the county forward in a positive direction. Decorah is a key stakeholder, and you know, in the county, whose understanding of my plan direction is important to me. And she can help me be successful. She is also affiliated with the Washington State Association of County Administrators affiliate group, which will be headed to Leavenworth along with Blair later on this spring for the county administration. So she's kind of in lockstep with me as I try and change the county's direction, or you know, keep us moving in a positive direction. So it would be very beneficial for me to have her there with me attending some of these meetings. So hopefully the board will support that, and I appreciate her help thus far.
And you've got the information for
I will.
the walk-up?
Yep, I will bring that to get that to the clerks. So I'm providing names today to Merchant McIntyre. It's one of the reasons why we added this quickly. Today's the deadline to get names so that we can get our meeting set up with Representative Newhouse and Senators Murray and Cantwell in the next couple of weeks. What we have left to do is ensure we talk to our local partners about how we can advocate on their behalf, along with we can support our entire community here, and we should certainly take advantage of that. We'll continue to advocate for Grant County's desire to work directly with the federal government for grants and earmarks without the state being a gatekeeper. And in my discussions with NACO, this has become a much more popular approach as numerous states condition their grants based on ideological requirements, and many communities are unable to get funding for projects that would positively impact those areas without compromising their values. WASAC has yet to release their legislative priorities. Last year, I was surprised to be asked to advocate for Pilton SRS. It caught me off guard, but we were able to do that. And we were successful in getting Pilton fully funded and SRS 80% funded by the federal government. So I've asked a couple of times now for WASAC's agenda for this year, and I keep being told that they're still working on it. They haven't released it yet. As far as the schedule of events at NACO, I'll be in the CIO Speed Sharing event and Technology Innovation Forum, which together is an all-day event. Then Technology Telecommunications Policy Steering Committee. There's an outlook on federal policy issues, navigating local governance for AI, property taxes under pressure, emergency reforms that are threatening county general funds across the country. County Administrators Idea Exchange, the Veterans Military and Services Committee meeting, the West Regional Caucus, 2 general sessions, the Federal Agency Expo, and the Policy Summit on Data Centers and County Land Use. There's also the Federal Advocacy Day and the closing session. It is a full week with a ton of stuff to get into. This week is a very busy week for me, and I'll be hard to get a hold of if anybody's looking for me. I'll have my cell, but I'll be in lengthy discussions with Leidig and CRA on the jail and coroner's office. The architect is here all this week. Excuse me, and we're performing the architect's punch list on the jail. This is the first milestone to occupying the new facility. As he goes through every inch of the facility to ensure the construction meets the drawings and the intent, while also looking at various finished details, ensuring those are where and how they should be. Many of the areas being punched have been through their final cleaning, and access is limited, and booties are required, that kind of thing, as they try and keep those areas clean before we occupy. We have a ways to go before we start moving in, but this first punch list is a milestone in regard to completing the project. It's very in-depth, but it's also very exciting to be at this point. We're also trying this week to meet with one of the engineers at Silicon Ranch. They've expressed that they would meet with us to discuss the solar options we have at the coroner's office. Because of the new energy code, we're required to have a solar component on that project. We're right now looking at about 6,500 watts. It was interesting when we did go and visit Silicon Ranch out there. 95% of everything they source out there is made in America by American companies. So I'd love to get their thoughts on how do we best achieve 6,500 watts of solar component? What do we use that for? What's the company name where you're getting this stuff, right? Because I'd love to buy American made instead of through China. And anyway, it's going to be good for us to meet with our architect just to get a good idea. I'm sure that you can go out there and just bid this and get a solar company, but we have this incredible project happening in our backyard, so why not at least talk to them and find out. I've also have an email from the general business manager for solar at the PUD. He knows the architect is here this week, and he's going to make himself available to us. So the minute we get some spare time, we'll get with him and also talk about the solar component, and the opportunity for possible grants or work with the PUD, get excess power back to the grid, that kind of thing. So we're also going to try and meet with the folks at the City of Moses Lake. You know, we had our pre-application meeting and it went well. The only area we really kind of wanted to push back on was the half street width improvements on Kittleson. It didn't make much sense. There's a lot of extensive work that we would be responsible for in doing that, and only half the street is going to get done. So the perception at the meeting, well, I wasn't there, but the perception was that, you know, it's listed as a covenant on the plat, but nobody was really excited about having to do that work. They know that we're doing curb gutter sidewalk regardless, which was not required, but we're going to be doing that. We're fixing up one of the corners, and we're actually moving a fire hydrant and upgrading part of the fire system just because we're going to be in it anyway. So we're already making some concessions to the City of Moses Lake, and they recognize that. But I think they're struggling with how to say, yes or no, or meet our request to not do these half-street width improvements, it would be a very expensive part of the project. So we're gonna try and meet with the city this week and see if we've got any more traction on that. Kevin, Abel, and Jeff Hughes are at the HR Expo, returning Wednesday evening. And Thursday at Public Works, we're performing the team charter for the Corners Project, the beginning of the jail project. We
Just
perform
with the HR Expo.
AHR, this is the HVAC Expo.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah,
I'm thinking,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, and they've got a full, Kevin sent me his list of classes they're taking, and I would be dead at the end of that. If they hit every one of those classes, their head's gonna be spinning. So there's a lot going on there. So this Thursday, the team charter, if you remember at the beginning of the jail project, Rob attended this. We went to Spokane for 2 days to do a team charter project because of the size of the jail project itself kind of demanded it. It was a great way to bring all of the stakeholders on the project together, get them all on the same page, and also set up a way to deconflict issues or deal with, different processes on the job that people may or may not have agreed with. It's been something we have gone back and referred to numerous times. And of course, the job shows that it's been successful, and that's been a big part of it. We're doing that same process for the coroner's office this Thursday. And again, the team charter is something I want to look at doing with department heads and electeds. So I know that Decorah will be taking part in that, so she can see it again, kind of my partner in crime, and help me achieve my vision of a new leadership platform, or a new leadership path forward that everybody's on board with through this team charter. So I spoke with Dell for quite a while about Aldridge, and I think the next HPL course is in April. And I'd like to get him in that, as well as Joe Carter, both going to the HPL class, and I'd like to discuss with Dell, what he wants to do leadership wise at Renew. I know that he's got the money, he can pay for that, what have you. Our discussion was more about not having two different leadership paths within the county and the cost of Baldridge. I don't know how I do that with county employees, right? It's just not something that's really sustainable. So I think the HPL it's a great program. It's a great leadership platform. It's something we can continue to build on, and I think it's a lot more accessible. So we'll continue those discussions. And I'm going to let the clerks go into their clerk of the board update. I know they had a couple of questions. And then after that, I'd like to go into executive session for just about 5 minutes to discuss a personnel disciplinary matter. That'll be it. So.
First thing for me, the PUD luncheon, the clerk from the PUD reached out to me asking to change your meeting for this quarter. So you won't have one in February. It's now going to be on March 24th. They are also suggesting to change the venue. Do any of you three have a problem with Timeout Pizza?
Much better choice.
Isn't that where they're going now?
Yeah, I thought that's where we had the last one.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Oh, oh, that's right,
That's
yeah.
where we went for the last one.
Okay, then they're saying Timeout Pizza, that's good for you. Okay, I'll add that on there. Next is a personal matter that I wanted to talk to you. On Friday, I did give Tom my letter of resignation for the commissioner's office. So now this is my formal notice to the three of you. My last day will be February 28th. I was able to get to where I can give a month's notice. I'm excited for the new opportunity that I have coming. It will be sad leaving here. I've worked with Caitlin for the last year in this upcoming transition. So the next month we'll be working real hard to get everything squared away, because the last thing I want to do is leave this office in a lurch. So this job has been fantastic for me, and I've appreciated the opportunity, and I leave it in good hands with everybody. So I'm excited. So thank you very much. And again, February 28th will be my last day. So thank you for that.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Wait to see you go, but I understand.
We'll miss you.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Well, good luck on whatever your next adventure is. so.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then Caitlin has something.
Yes, back in December, Teresa Atkinson with the Board of Health sent over recommendations or requests to update the Board of Health resolution the commissioners have. I forwarded it to you guys again this morning, just so it's fresh in your inbox, but they are looking for a response if the commissioners would like to make these changes.
And again,
Back in December, Board of Health requested some changes made to their resolution. They had sent over a version of the resolution with their changes that they requested. I forwarded it to you guys again this morning, so it should be fresh in your inbox, but they are following up to see if the board would like to make those changes.
I don't remember it at all.
And it appears there's two significant changes on there. Extending terms from 2 to 3 years, starting with the new term on January 1st, 2026, and extend the current term ending December 31st to 2026 to December 31st, 2027. And they want to limit city-appointed seats to council members from cities that financially contribute to the health district, ensuring shared responsibility.
Yeah, that's what was on in the Susan Towns meeting last week was they wanted Moses Lake to join, but then they had this where they don't want, if you haven't, they're not paying, Moses Lake's not paying in anymore.
Well, they're not. Most Lake has always been one of the bigger contributors.
Well, they just don't agree with the,
Direction.
yeah.
Well, but they have to have the largest city, so they're changing that, and I think that's an RCW. They're supposed to have somebody from one of the larger, I guess Euphrates would follow that.
Well, Quincy's second.
Quincy, okay, one of the larger cities and one of the smaller cities, so there's 2 spots. So they're pretty much alienating. I don't think on the RCW it says if they're contributing.
I understand her point, though. If you're not going to contribute, I mean, it's surprising that they wouldn't want to do that, but haven't been to any of these meetings. But I mean,
Well, maybe there's a reason
yeah.
they want somebody in that city so that they can change the direction of the board.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you want to make a change, you stop your financial contribution.
Well, it's not that, it's other things, but they don't think the health district should be involved with anything homeless related. And that was the city council's decision to not fund them was based on that, which, I mean, I agree in some ways to that, but at the same time, it's, if you're receiving a grant, which, I mean, they're a district, right? They're trying to bring as much money in as they can to operate. So they receive grant funding and then they put employees in roles that get the grant funding, and that's basically what they did. So they're handing out sleeping bags, and council and a lot of people's opinion is they have no business in that portion of things. So that was kind of when the city was polling their support for on the homeless items. So.
you
I
guys,
don't think it was wise, personally.
Maybe a short term. I kind of like the term as it is and not increasing it. Sometimes there needs to be some fresh ideas.
they're
on the board.
currently 2-year terms.
But she also changed what the shall, 2 members shall be elected officials. So does that mean Or is she deleting shall?
So that means an elected, it has to be an elected official. It cannot be like a city administrator or, so I just want to make sure on that, because it's pretty specific on the RCW.
I think they might have changed, seat 8.
Yeah,
The-
yeah, for the
Maybe,
tribal member.
Yes, it seems like she made changes to that also.
maybe if we're curious about whether or not they're running afoul of an RCW, we should send it to our civil to make sure that they're not before you say yes or no to anything.
It would go to legal before it goes to consent. We just need to know if the commissioners want to go that.
That would be my suggestion, then, is to send it to legal to get their opinion on it.
I'm actually okay with the way it's written currently
They also need to change the last page of it.
and not implement a new one.
Dated 2022.
So you've got one, don't change.
Yes. Robert, Kevin?
We can have further.
Yeah,
discussion.
I don't particularly like the 3-year term myself, but
They're the seat members, not me.
But the commissioners are the ones that approve it.
So Kevin, is that a no from you then?
yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there you go.
I will let them in.
We have 2 no's and I'm not sure what the third no was.
Abstain.
I don't know, did you hear that? I don't know what the third no is.
Not a member.
No.
The third one was not a member, not commenting.
With that, I just need about 5 minutes for an executive session.
okey-dokey, we're going to go into executive session for 5 minutes, starting at 8:53, coming out at 8:58. Personnel disciplinary matter, RCW 42.30.1101F. It's 8:58, and we are out of executive session. No decisions were made.
I don't have much to say on Zach Kennedy's email that he sent the commissioners this morning about this week's session. Infighting, things moving. What I have discovered, I had a great plan of being super active, and I have discovered that it's almost impossible just to track these bills in the first place. So unless you're
They're all over the place.
over there just actively involved day to day,
Well, even at that,
I have completely failed at my attempts to be really as active as I wanted to be. So I will think about that for next year.
Well, and Zach has been really good, so if you want to know, he will track the ones, like
Yeah.
if you want the ag or the,
Well, one of the things I've been happy about and surprised about is when I talk to department heads, how active they already have been in tracking those bills, and making sure, so to a much greater level than I thought they were. So I was really happy about that. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them or get you updates on anything you need, and I'll run up and take care of the flag, get something out on Facebook. It'll be for 24 hours. We'll put it back up tomorrow, so.
I don't have anything else. Thanks for taking care of that. NACO, thank you too. I appreciate that.
Rob, anything?
Nothing
All is
right
well.
now.
Enjoy your trip to Washington DC.
Thank you.
It'll be good.
I will represent you all.
Right.
I'll do my
did
best
you opt not
anyways.
to go, or you're
I
just,
know you will.
Do my best.
I know you will.
can you just decide not to go, or think,
I just don't feel like I can leave my
okay,
family.
keep up with everything?
You guys have any questions about anything on consent? I didn't see
I
anything.
do. It is probably more of simplifying Caitlin's life or Barb's life. So on 8 and 9, can they not be combined? And 10 and 11? Because they're on the same project, 25, because sometimes I just notice we're getting, if we can compile them, I feel like we're getting longer and longer.
Were they two separate requests though?
Well, they're on the same project
Same
number,
project, but
2407,
If
because
someone- they put in two different requests, though, they would come through as two different.
Carrie is online.
There are four.
I could promote her to a panelist, maybe she can.
because they're still on phase one and then, yeah, it's under the same contract.
While you're getting her online, the only thing I need to check on is a possible mistake on the agenda for items 18 and 19. That it's listed under the treasurer's office. I'll verify it. I believe that's for the prosecutor's office, not the treasurer's office. But
That was my error, Tom. Sorry about that.
So
Yeah, let me just check.
that is for Brandon's office.
So that's for the prosecutor's office?
Yep.
Okay.
The Yoga Pro.
And then, Carrie, are you able to?
Yes, are those requests, are the dates the same that I submitted the request
I don't have
at
that.
the top of the consent form?
We don't have
Because
or
a lot of times I will already have a reimbursement request already done up, and then another one will come through. And so that's why they're most of the time they're separate like that, especially with McKay.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, no, I just thought, oh, it'd be, yeah, kind of simplify. Yeah, we don't, where is our consent agenda?
I believe Barb has it upstairs.
Okay. That's probably what it is. Thank you, Carrie, for explaining.
Yes, you're welcome.
And it's all online for your review as well.
Okay.
I guess we'll go into recess until 9:30. It's 9:02. We'll recess till 9. Good morning, it's 9:30. We're here for a development services update. Jim Cook.
Good morning, Commissioners. Happy Groundhog's Day. He saw a shadow, so we're in it for another 6 weeks.
it hasn't been bad, so.
No,
It's been a mild winter. What do you, it sounds like you got some canning jars over there.
yeah, there's bottles I hear underneath.
Rob's canning tonight.
This is not, that's not good. It's not good, or maybe it is. So a couple things, I don't know necessarily about an update, but there's been a request to have a conversation on two topics. So I guess we'll start, maybe the first topic is Planning Commission. So recently there's been, I understand there's been a request for the clerk of the board to keep a more accurate accounting and tabs on the commission members across all of the boards, so that when there's an expiration, they get posted publicly. I don't know if the vacancy or if it's the expiration gets posted publicly. Is that right? Is that kind of the directive? Am I saying that correctly?
Close, yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be saying, Joe Schmo's term is expiring. It would just be a press release saying that the commissioners are seeking interested citizens. It would be the standard press release. This is what the board had talked to us about a few weeks ago, about publishing anytime a term is expiring. So those seeking reappointment would need to reapply, and then it gives the board was wanting to give opportunity for other members of the public to apply for positions.
Right. I'm assuming that Bill Bailey has reapplied.
He hasn't, and that's why I'm bringing it up today, is that what we have done historically is just re-upped them, so to speak. And
Okay.
then that's what would happen with Bill, is that he's been expired since 2024.
Right.
So that would be my request, is that we re-enlist him, so to speak. You'll notice that we've got several that are expiring here at the end of the year. And the reason I'm bringing it up is that we actually have it codified. The Planning Commission Rules of Procedure is codified in Title II, and it doesn't list any term limits in 2.68 for the Planning Commission Rules of Procedure. So if we want to install term limits actual codified term limits, we would need to amend the rules of procedure, which I'm happy to do.
So we don't have term limits on the planning commission?
Not in code. No,
Okay.
I printed the code for you.
Okay.
And I couldn't find where this actually was codified. So we had in our planning commission binder, we just had assigned by the commissioners when the planning commission was stood up, rules of procedure, and the codified rules of procedure follow them pretty closely, but not exactly. So I think that, and it looked like it was in and around 2018, but I couldn't find the resolution where it was actually adopted, but clearly it was.
That's when the code was updated, or the code.
Yeah. So I would recommend that we amend the planning commission rules of procedure to at least at a minimum install term limits. In looking through it, I think that it needs a complete overhaul, because as you can see, if we were to assume that there was term limits codified, the way that we filled some of these positions, we would be in a little bit of trouble and could be in a little bit of trouble coming here towards the end of this year, and that we've got members that are expiring, at the end of November and at the end of December. So we would have 1, 2, 3, 4 open positions heading into December 1st that we would need to advertise for and reapply for. So, and them included. So, if we were to codify a term limit and the requirement that even current members that are expiring reapply for their position along with members of the public, so that the board, the three of you, can then choose who you would like representing that position in your district. It would be probably a better process than it is right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So currently we have, of course, a new member, Stephen Phipps. He was just appointed by the board in December, so he wouldn't roll until 2029, coming out of District 2. And Elliot is due to expire in November. Susan Freeman in 2027. Sandra Marcus in August of this year. Richard, December of this year. So, in any event.
Hey, well, if we need to update it, do you mind working on it and then kind of working on the term limits, or
How
term
strict-
limits or appointments?
How strict is it about being in that district too?
It's not.
Because I don't think Susan lives in my district anymore.
Yeah, and she doesn't. And there's some discussion that she might be moving out of the county.
Well, that might be a problem, but.
Yeah, and she's been pretty open about it. So we will talk to her again, and when that happens, then obviously there'll be an open position. But Commissioner, it is not. There does in the code. It does not have to be certain members from certain districts or X number of members from districts. It's more about just having
Yeah,
representation.
I think we as commissioners several years ago
You
really
did.
worked hard to get
Yeah, it's nice to
all
have.
the districts represented. So,
Yeah. So the process by the code is that staff works through the planning commission to make changes to the rules of procedure, and then the planning commission presents that to you, the board, for approval. So Michelle and I can get started on that.
okay,
So,
sounds good.
but my recommendation would be to get Bill Bailey reappointed. So I don't know if you need an
Well, if
email.
it's not in the code, yeah, well, I think we probably need to just reappoint him.
Right.
Clean up our code and then
Yep.
move forward on a
Yeah.
pattern
Yeah,
that.
I think Bill does a good job. He's got a lot of knowledge. I think it would be good to reappoint him.
Exactly. So currently he's the vice chair. So Elliot Goodrich is the chair and leans heavily on Bill just because he's been there for
Yeah,
so
he's got a
long.
lot of knowledge.
Rob, your thoughts on this?
Which part?
Reappointing or
Yeah, I
re-upping
don't-
Bill.
I don't, indifferent, doesn't matter.
Okay.
And then updating the code, so it's,
So what would we need to do to?
I'm not
make that
concerned
happen?
with term limits really either.
How about a rotation? I mean, if we address term limits and then some type of a rotation inside of the code in that, I mean, right now, we don't have, so member 1 serves 2 years, member 2 serves 3 years, member 3 serves 4 years, so that we're not finding ourselves in a situation where we're at currently, where we have 4 members leaving at the end of this year.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
okay.
So Jim, when I look at planning commission, it's like, majority of these people aren't developers. Not really like doing that.
No.
I would like to see that, but then you have a problem of
conflict.
they're gonna conflict out
Yeah.
on projects. So how do we, like representing me, I would like people that do this,
Yeah.
that build, that expand, that are growing, that want to grow, that know how to grow. That's what I would want on a planning commission. But then they're gonna conflict out on all tons of stuff.
Yeah, they would have to recuse themselves if they find themselves in a
Yeah.
specific personal conflict of interest. But I agree with you. I want members on this commission that are familiar with the Growth Management Act and understand what it is that we're trying to accomplish. They don't have to agree with the policy that is, oftentimes forced upon us by the state, but they have to, have some type of understanding or a desire to want to understand. Currently on this board is just folks that want to just present their personal opinion and fight, which is not helpful to any of us.
Not productive.
It's not productive. Our most recent newest member is not a developer, but is a master's degree in physics and is a potato farmer by trade, and is highly intelligent and is asking questions and wants to learn. We hosted a growth management. Well, Kevin, you were there. He came to that snoozer of a class that we put on for growth management for 4 hours. Showing at least the initiative to want to understand what it is that he's sitting on, and had a ton of questions during our last planning commission meeting when we were making changes to the code and doing comprehensive plan updates. That's what I'm looking for
Yeah,
is
no, I agree.
not necessarily developers, but folks that want to understand. So
That's where I met him at.
yeah. Okay, so Michelle and I we'll get that started. I'll send Caitlin an email asking that we re-up, so to speak, Bill Bailey, and then we'll get working on the planning commission, some changes to the rules of procedure. We were going to address this in our March meeting with the planning commission, but there's some policy as we're going through legislation. I'm going to take a turn here real quick. So as Michelle and I are working through legislative session updates weekly, last week and this week, it appears that there is going to be a policy, an ADU policy in rural county that is likely to be approved. So we are going to work on making an emergency amendment to our policy because the legislation that is looking to be approved for rural ADUs would require that these residential units be on a shared well that is metered. And we would like to not have a ordinance that requires that we begin metering our private exempt wells, because we don't quite frankly have the resources to do that. But if we can amend our current ADU policy to be close to what we think is going to be adopted, less the exempt well metering requirement, we would like to get started on that with the planning commission. So more to come.
Was there something in that same ADU bill that they have to have the same driveway or
Yes.
something?
Same driveway. So the bill that's on the table right now has square footage maximums. So 1,296 square feet maximum. has to share the same driveway, has to be within 150 feet of the primary residence, has to have, the existing septic system has to have capacities to support it. And then there's some provisions that are not optional, even if we do amend our current policy, that is in and around code enforcement. So if it's not a legally established unit, then there's a $1,000 civil penalty. There's double permit fees. If they continue to not comply, it can go all the way up to triple penalties. And then also the lack of, we would not be able to issue a building permit for up to 2 years. So that's in section 2 and 3. Those are not optional, but what we would like to do, so in section 1, it's again, square footage maximums, same driveway, distance to existing single-family residence, water withdrawals per the RCW, metering, which we'd like to avoid, and then septic systems. And here's the kicker. We will be required in a future update to account for those ADUs and amend our density. So they're just not free. So right now, if we're in a zoning designation that's one dwelling unit per 5 acres, and we put an ADU on it, we have to account for that, report to the Department of Commerce. And so then in our next 10-year update, if we had 100 ADUs that were issued in that 10 years, we have to adjust our zoning and density to account for those ADUs. So let's say it goes to 1.1 per 7.5 acres, and then use that number to forecast what we're going to issue in the future. So, and the ordinance will only allow for either one attached or one detached, not both. And the International Residential Code for Washington State allows for one within, one attached. So we don't have to report the withins or attached. It's only the detached. So as development services, we will start, I don't want to say the conversation, but start educating our customers that it's very advantageous to start looking at within. So, mother-in-law units within the existing envelope or attached to the existing envelope, as opposed to detached, because we won't be penalized for future density. So we're not gonna be able to get away from those that want to do a detached. We just will need to account for those in the future, and they will be limited in size.
How will that work for people that already have them?
That's just it, is we're gonna have to grandfather them in to a specific date. Fortunately, we had an adopted date with our current ADU policy. So all of those units will be grandfathered in. The challenge is going to be with the square footage limitation. It's the units that are existing in the field right now. So the accessory, the shop, so to speak, that has a dwelling unit attached to it, that somebody erected under the plan of then circling back around and then permitting a single family residence. Let's say they're moving over from the west side and they're retiring. We see this on Panorama all the time. I'm going to build a shop with a little dwelling unit. I'm going to throw my dock in so that I'm compliant, because you have to have a dwelling unit in order to have a dock. And then I'm going to retire and then build we had an application last week, literally this thing, 7,500 square foot dream house. Yeah. So they're going to then name the existing little dwelling unit an ADU, which is compliant with the code. Well, under the new code, that ADU could not exceed 1,000 square feet. So that's the challenge. Now, it's heated space. So it's the R3 space, the conditioned space. So what people will get creative with is, moving storage in the garage, which is not R3 space. So laundry units, pantries, things like that. We'll see people shift to try to get around it, and that's fine. So.
Gonna get complicated.
It's gonna get complicated. But we really want to avoid metering.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't have to meter. Okay, so it's been asked before. Previous Commissioner Stone asked, what am I signing? Commissioner Jones, not so much. Commissioner Burgess, now you're next up, signing Mylars. And I'm sure it's, what the heck am I looking at? What am I signing? Commissioner Carter, I don't know if it's ever been a question for you or if you're just blindly trusting us, probably blindly trusting
And we
us.
actually had a kind of a process of how the process it went through, why it takes longer in some areas. It's not just a signature, it's a verification.
Yeah.
But by the time it comes to us, we've
It's
pretty much trusted everybody else.
It's been vetted.
And
It's pretty well
re-vetted.
vetted.
Yeah,
I mean, I read through the ones that I've signed so far, and I haven't seen anything I'd be concerned with.
yeah. So here's literally a project start to finish. And so it starts with the application. So the first packet that you have in front of you is the application. This is a 2-lot short plat. You'll notice it was received on June 3rd of 2024 by Western Pacific. There's no tricks here. They give us a concurrency statement, which basically is, what it is they're trying to do and how they're doing it. They want to create 2 lots within the RR1 designation. It did have shrub step on it, so they also, so next packet is the map, so the proposed map for the Hernandez short plat. You'll see that, again, real easy. It's 2-lot short plat that has the rear of the parcel has the existing house on it, and they're looking to carve off 5 acres to the front of the parcel, and they're doing it by way of what we call a flag lot. So in the county, a legal parcel has to touch a county road by a minimum of 50 feet. And so this is how often people make that happen, is they create a flag lot. They run a stem down one lot line or the other. They flare it out to 50 feet on the county road and call it good. So that's the proposed map. Again, because it had shrub step on it, the requirement is that they do a habitat assessment. So that habitat assessment was received along with the application on June 3rd. Won't bore you with the details, but basically what it said, and it's highlighted, that they will, on page 4, they will set aside and protect a native growth protection easement to allow for the siting of a single-family residence. And I believe at the time, this may have been at 1-to-1.
The one on page 5.
1-to-1 on page 5? Yeah, so this was under our old critical area ordinance. Yeah, so providing 1-to-1 replacement for impacted habitat. And that is a condition of approval and is noted on the face of the plat. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So again, application received on June 3rd. We review it for what we call technically completeness. So is the application consistent with Grant County Code? Does it have all of the materials that we need in order to send it out for agency review? We have 28 days from the time we receive the application and stamp it in to send out a notice of technically complete or technically incomplete. So the next letter you'll see that Amon issued was on July 1st. That was a technically complete letter, which tells the applicant what the next steps are. So he says that he'll be posted on site and it's going to go in the newspaper and be circulated to agencies with jurisdiction. So the next page on July 5th, 2024, you'll notice that he issued to the following agencies with jurisdiction the application materials, asking for their comments. Be back no later than 5 p.m. on Monday, July 22nd. Now, if it's helpful, and if the board would like, we could add the board to this agency distribution list at preliminary plat application. We don't necessarily need comments back, but this would be the board's opportunity, the chair's opportunity to see applications like this for the first time. So something to consider, but this is when agencies are made aware of the application for the very first time. This is what the posting looks like. So this is what gets posted on site. You guys have seen these all over the county. They're 11 by 17, bright green paper, basically saying the same thing. This is the notice of application, what the application is, how you can get copies of the application materials. This is exactly verbatim what goes in the newspaper, and is what's mailed to owners within 300 feet. So we snap a line around the existing parcel area. It does a query for us, and then it generates a mailing list for parcel owners within 300 feet. We send a copy of the plat map proposed and this notice so that folks can request the application materials if they are concerned. We've received all of the information back, the comments back from the agencies, and we have produced then a staff report, and also a notice of decision and a resolution. So we are required by law within 90 days from technically complete to issue a notice of decision. So we don't need to go backwards, but I'll remind everybody that on July 1st, we issued a technically complete. So now we have to have notice within 90 days. We issued that notice and staff report on August 30th, so we're 60 days, almost a full month ahead of schedule of what statutorily we're required to issue that notice of decision. You don't need to pour through it, but the resolution and the notice of decision are on the last pages, along with, the comments and the conditions of approval, what the developer has to do in order to get final approval. So next page. Now, again, we issued that on August 30th of 2024. On April 30th of 2025, Western Pacific, the applicant, replied with how they met all of those conditions of approval. So this is where the clock stopped for us, and now they're on the clock. And in our resolution states that you have 1 year to record your short plat from the time we preliminarily approve, and we preliminarily approved on August 30th. So now it's September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So we're 9 months in, and they are just now coming up with a preliminary plat application and an amended map and a list of how they came up with, or how they satisfied the conditions of approval. So they're kind of up against it right now. So we quickly sent out, recirculated this letter to all the agencies that provided comment that basically says, this is how they have met your conditions of approval. You have 7 days to tell us how they did. We get those comments back along with the map that they've provided, and then we send a letter. So in this case, we sent a letter on June 2nd. So roughly a month after we received their comments on how they met the conditions, we circulated it, we gathered up comments, we reviewed, and then sent them on June 2nd, a letter with those comments and basically authorization to pick up those final comments and take it to recording, produce Mylars ready to record. But again, we're running up against it and from a timing standpoint, because they've got a year to get it approved. So on July 30th, they send us the first letter requesting an extension.
Now, I have to ask, is that because it's the owner of the property or the company that's doing the job?
It could be either or, and again, sometimes the conditions of, all the time, the conditions of approval are you have to put in site improvements. So if you're building roads, now this application, they didn't have to build a road. They did a flag lot touching the county road. So, but in other instances, you and I were working with a customer, for a long time that needed to construct a road. And so it's multiple of these letters for several years until the road was built. Now, the state statute says you have up to 5 years to record a plat, a short plat. I don't know why we changed our code to 1 year, but we have since amended that to match the state statute so that we're not chasing these down all the time.
Yeah, that's probably a good.
Yeah.
thing.
Now, under Michelle's leadership, we are, the expectation is going to be that the planners do a better job of tracking their projects and I don't want to say pestering, but
Reaching out.
yeah, reaching out and nudging them along.
Sure.
And that's going to be the similar, she's made some changes in the way that we process boundary line adjustments as well. So there's too many mistakes that are happening, deeds that are not being recorded, or deeds that are recorded that the legal descriptions are incorrect, causing additional monetary hurt to the customer that we're trying to tighten up. So, and then finally, Mylars are circulated. So the expectation is that any outside agencies, the applicant chase down the signatures. So we're talking about the Bureau of Reclamation, the Health District, themselves, the owners, all of those outside agencies, those are signed and then brought to us for circulation internally. It begins with Public Works. So we get the maps, we send it up to Public Works, get the engineer to sign, comes back to my office. I sign, fire marshal signs, building official signs, works its way across the street. We excise tax stamp, treasurer signs, auditor, and then all of it finds its way ultimately up to the board. So that's the process. So if at any point in time, like it would seem like it may be a preliminary, if you want to be copied in on the application at preliminary, happy to do it. There's no expectation that you provide comment.
Right.
Commissioner Stone, in the past, oftentimes we by way of clustering, we cut the corners off of these pivots, either with or without residents. He was concerned about what was happening with the ownership of the pivot, if the ownership was changing. There's a number of reasons that people are doing this. So if the board would like to be made aware prior to it almost being set in stone and requiring your signature, happy to do it.
Yeah, just an email when they make application.
Okay.
Just so we know what's going on.
Okay.
I'd be happy with that.
Okay. Right on. Well, that is plating. That was fast, I know, but plating 101. And a lot to it. I mean, there's a lot to it. It's not as easy as people would like to make it out to be.
Well, they don't understand the process.
No.
That's the problem.
Right.
It's not just, we're going to the county to do a short plat and it's easy.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
They're just in the waiting. I mean, in the 15-day comment periods and all the things, there's just, they get stacked up. Now, and I know I'm over, but again, in this legislative session, and it's got some traction, there's also a bill that looks like it might be approved, amending 5817, which is the subdivision code that might allow for short plats inside of the UGA to go up to 30.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
any comment or something like that.
Yeah, it just administratively, just like this process. Sorry, I was on the phone.
No, you're
when
fine.
you called.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, everybody.
Can I just take a 2-minute break really fast?
We're gonna go on a 2-minute
Got
break.
warmed up.
Come back at 10:03. It is 10:04 and we are here with the assessor's office update. Good morning, Melissa.
Morning. So staffing wise, we are short-staffed. We have currently 2 people out on FMLA leave. We'll have another one out here this month. We're having babies. And then someone else had some surgery. So yeah, we're short-staffed. We had that flu come rapidly through our office. But we are we're maintaining, we're treading water. We're almost back to everybody who's not on FMLA back. We're finalizing all of the behind the scenes on the levies to get that over to Daryl. I did reach out while I was out sick 2 days on Thursday and Friday with the flu. I had sent an email to them regarding the LTIF rates. I got an email back from Diane. I sent her a clarifying email this morning, so I am waiting for her to get back to me on that one. And then that should, after that, Daryl will have everything.
Is she from the state?
Yes,
Or,
yeah. And then it'll just be reporting and things like that. Everybody's working on their appeals, which we have a, which out of 67,000 parcels, we'll take it. That's a pretty good percentage. And a lot of those probably are just gonna be agreements too, because we ran out of time, so we're just telling people to appeal so we could look at them. We wanted them to keep their rights to appeal and give us time to look at them, so.
but you may review them and some of them may.
Yeah, we always tell people, contact us in case something's wrong, if it's an outlier. You do have outliers when you're doing it statistically, so. We like to go through everything on a property just to make sure. We don't want to be wrong, so, yeah. We've got the majority of those actually out with responses within the 60 days. We had everybody stop what they were doing and reval and work on them. We still have a few out. We did get some late ones, and one of the persons that's out on FMLA is out, so we're having Matt go ahead and work on that one so it gets out right away. But we have everybody covered, so yeah. I don't know, something was in the water last year. We went years without any babies, and then all of a sudden they're just like within 3 months, babies.
All got bored.
So that's really all I got.
But yeah, any questions?
Try to keep everybody healthy.
All right.
Got the Lysol wipes and the Clorox wipes, sprays.
It's a vicious cold that's going around.
And yeah, trying to get people to just, if you're not feeling well, just stay home, because we really don't want to,
Yeah,
pass it
share.
around.
All right. Well, it's 10:08. We're gonna go into recess until 10:15.
Is it raining out there?
Mhm.
That's right, my hair is frizzy.
Good morning, it's 10:15 and we're here for a clerk's office update. How are you this morning?
Wet. I walked our
Gotta
new
stay out of the
employee
rain.
over to HR and
Oh,
I really don't have anything, but I feel like I hadn't been here for a while, so I thought I should come.
are you coming down for lunch at least?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I'll be here.
Nothing new going on over there?
What's up?
Nothing new going on over there?
We got a new judge.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah,
That was a
but
packed house.
she's at judicial college right now, so we won't see her for a couple weeks. But then she'll come back and
Get to work, huh?
throw him to the wolves.
Well, and she doesn't live here, or she's worked elsewhere. Is she moving?
She said that they were planning to move,
So not
so,
only is she going to judicial college, she's getting ready to move here.
yeah.
She's got a plate full, I'm sure.
And I don't know,
Where did she live previously? She lived in,
she lives in Wenatchee.
gotcha.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't say that. She,
Somewhere in a neighboring county.
Chelan County,
Chelan County.
but I don't know what town. I didn't even think to ask her that. But she said she was planning to move here. I don't know timing wise when that will be, because presumably she runs for election this
Mhm.
year. And yeah, she might at least wait till after May to find out. She doesn't have a challenger, then the move's kind of easy, but if she has a challenger, then that would be a lot.
We don't always have a lot of judicial opposition or opponents.
Yeah, I was curious, just with it being a governor appointment and her not living in the county, if that might draw
So she'll have to be in the county.
interest. I don't know.
When do you file? May, March, April, May? April,
May. And they
First
have
week
to
of May.
be here, what, 30 days before they file or live in the county?
I think with judicial candidates, they don't have to follow that.
Oh, because they're employees of the state, not the county. I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah. I wondered that too. But I'm pretty sure that they changed that several, maybe 10
No,
years
Do
back.
they work Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday?
The judges?
Yeah.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
Oh, yeah. Friday is a big day.
Oh, yep, it says they don't have to live. So the state constitution only requires that the Superior Court judges be residents of Washington State and qualified to practice law within the state. So she will not have to move.
Yeah.
A lot of driving.
I wouldn't have to, yeah, I wouldn't want to make that drive.
Plus, if you have a challenger, you lose Grant County.
That road to Wenatchee's awful anymore. Too much traffic.
It isn't any worse than the one in Tri-Cities.
Well, yeah, that one's bad too. So, anything new going on? This year?
There's all kinds of new stuff going on.
I listened into Tom's update this morning. Sounds like the jail's progressing well. Coroner's office is
Moving along,
getting close to,
close to moving them. Are they supposed to start moving into that building next week? At the, here in Freda?
Upstairs, is that what you call it?
Yeah, I was gonna
Upstairs,
say
they're gonna move upstairs. On
The
the hill.
temporary coroner's office,
oh,
yeah.
where will that be?
The old police
Oh,
retrofitting it for them now. They're starting moving
Gotcha.
in there. You only have, till March 1st, I think. Or they have to be out of the
Is that when they're
hospital,
moving the hospital? It's looking really good, the hospital.
yeah.
and then when is the new coroner's office supposed to be? I mean, I know it's kind of beginning stages, but when are you hoping it'll be done?
For the year or two,
Year and a half.
as soon as possible.
Yeah,
But I'm glad we have a spot, a location. It's gonna be a bit of an inconvenience for Craig, but he's been great to work with.
yeah.
Be a little more challenging for them for a year and a half, but
We can ask everybody to hold off on the services that the coroner needs and maybe we can.
yeah, that'd be great.
Everybody keep breathing for a
Hold
couple
on.
years.
Will be an inconvenience this year.
Yeah. That's all I got.
All you got?
Yep.
All right, I guess we'll go into recess until 10:30. 21. Good morning, it's 10:30. We're here for a district court update. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. It's the first of 3 times you get to see me today, so aren't you lucky?
We must be.
Okay, one second to log in.
What did we even get out? We're on. We are live.
We are live.
Okay, so sorry, I reset my password this morning and now my iPad hates me. All right. So we'll have a PMRT request here shortly. So you'll get to see us for that. I'm gonna have Brittany present it because I let her do a bunch of the work on it and just provided guidance. So she'll be here to present at 11. But essentially, we're just asking that the district court pro tem's wages be tied to the district court judge's wages so that we don't fall behind and then try to catch up every 5 years or so. Seems like a simpler solution, but she'll give you a full presentation on that. And then we are, our community court has a group of people traveling to the All Rise conference again this year.
All rise.
Yeah, it's that big one in Nashville. It's in Nashville this year. I went to it years ago in Houston. I'm going again this year for the first time since. We have the ARPA funding for community court we'll be using for it. We've got some new team players. We've got a new prosecutor, someone new at the jail. And then I haven't been in years, so we're all just kind of going to go and get a refresher while we have some good funding for that. The state is slowly starting to kind of cut back on funding and trying to get us to transition to other means of funding. So we want to get as many people to go to that as possible. I don't anticipate we'll have to do anything before we can get the out-of-state travel approved. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Amy looked this morning and it said that the blocks should be opening beginning of March, which means probably then that the registration will also be beginning of March or maybe shortly before that. So she's going to work on getting me all of the out-of-state approval forms this week. Hopefully I can send those in by Thursday. You'll have them on consent for next week, but there'll be estimated numbers based on prior year's expenses, just so that when those registrations come out, we can immediately book. The last time that I went when we were in Houston, we were split up between like 3 or 4 different hotels all over the place. That's very, very inconvenient. But the on-site hotel books up like in the first day that it's released. So I had kind of told her if anything happens between me getting approval and now and me getting approval to book it, and I'll ask for extreme forgiveness because I do not want to be split up all over the place again. But I don't anticipate that happening.
7,000 attendees. Sorry, I'm just looking 200 plus sessions, 200 plus speakers,
It's
20.
like the biggest thing I've ever been to. It's absolutely insane. I have pictures I can show you from last year. They do they have tons and tons and tons of classes. You can sign up for, whatever you want to go to.
Right.
You can divide and conquer. And then they have a couple of sessions that are like everyone. And it's in this like gigantic stadium. And it's like just people, shoulder to shoulder people for like as far as you can see. It's incredible. Yeah, so that's our plan. Get a bunch of us to go to that while we can, while we have funding, and it will all be 100% grant funded, so none of it will be coming out of our normal current expense budget. And that's it. That's all I got.
Well, just FYI, they have a little letter that you can submit, your justification toolkit, the cost of the hotel rooms, where you're staying. Even, a little request form for you guys to $7.95 for members, $8.95 for non-members. It says try a web travel service to get a quick estimate. They really promote this.
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of crazy. It's a good, there's pros and cons. It's good for being team building, and it's a very good, like, rah-rah, you come home really motivated. It's not so good at like Washington standards and Washington best practices because it's nationwide. So, but it is definitely good for like just getting everyone like re-motivated. And our program's doing really well, so I think it's a good thing to keep everyone on the right track. I think she mocked up expenses would be around 3,100 a person. We're still waiting on supervisor approval for anyone outside of our office. And then I asked her to get approval for me to just submit all the out-of-state requests too. So that you're just getting all of them from all the offices and departments from one person instead of multiple departments. That's about all I have.
Questions for you, Rob? Anybody else
Nope.
have any questions? We'll go into recess until 10:45. Going out at 10:37. It's 10:46 and we will go into our commissioner work session.
Yeah.
Nothing's closed or open?
Oh, you can close it. Thank you. Do you have anything for our work session this afternoon or this morning?
How many open record public hearings we have tomorrow? 3?
Yes. You have a community development block grant Beverly Water District project. An ordinance for the Moses Point golf cart zone, and then the UDC amendment to chapter 25.24 for shrub stem mitigation banks.
So you'll be here for that, right? Help me out with that.
Hold on.
You train.
The only one that's kind of, I probably need to just look over the golf cards on one.
Yeah, I looked over it last night a little bit. I'll look over it again tonight.
Public Works would normally kind of just like give us a highlighted outline prior to going into a hearing on it. But
Yeah, I get the feeling it won't be, I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
what else do we have going on, Caitlin?
So, Caitlin, I don't know, do we normally send like a card out to other commissioners, like that Joe in Lincoln County, her husband passed away? We send cards out to those guys.
No,
Happens since I've been here.
Okay.
but we can.
Well, I don't know why we can't buy some cards. We've never been able to buy cards for situations like that we could send in as a board. I feel like other elected officials, department heads, they have pens, they have everything, and we don't even have cards to send out.
They got coins, they got
I think
pens,
we
they
have
got.
blank cards,
Why
don't we?
can't you buy
I don't
cards?
know, I think.
Yeah, but they're just like printed off paper.
Because it's of a personal nature.
But
I
it's
think we
not,
could
it's
do like,
work related. It's office related. You're not sending it as individuals, you're sending it as a board.
Right, yeah, I
I
think,
think we could
You
get
my
some
permission for
cards.
whatever that
I
matters.
think we need to do that.
Which is nothing, but
The
Right.
last card I sent was, I think Barb printed it out for me or something. I don't know. It was kind of,
Was it cheap?
it was a little cheesy, but it was just an apology for triple booking myself and not making it to a deal, so.
So I think we should, even if they said Grant County Commission, we could put our own,
Or just said Grant County, yeah.
yeah, kind of write our own message on it. Then we could cover a plethora of,
You can reach out to A&H printers. They're the ones that we currently go to for our business cards. So I know they have our county logo on file. Can reach out to them to see about getting
See if they do
something
credit cards.
made. Yep.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
What is the printer's email? Do you recall?
What?
It is
Purple Coyote?
BOCC.
BOCC-hearing
Oh, the printer.
@hpeprint.com.
I thought you were asking for the print company
Oh.
down the street. I'm like, let me just throw
This is
something
what
out.
I learned at my UCOG meeting for an hour.
You actually went all through this in 1 hour?
Okay, and I was approached, while we're still in our roundtable or work session, about councilmatically implementing the 1%, 0.01%, 0.1% behavioral health tax. Again, I would not want to, even though I have the power to put a tax on citizens of Grant County and those that are visiting Grant County, I feel like a vote would be, I wouldn't want to put a tax. Anytime that we're taking money out of somebody's
Yeah, no, I think
whole
that's
budget,
something that we should think about doing, is put it on the,
I'll have to ask
out to the voters.
Daryl what the cost would be to run
It's
that.
expensive.
But if we're doing it along with a
With something
a
else.
general election, it shouldn't be too
I think
expensive.
I was told that, I don't know what it was. It's a couple $100,000.
Well, if you do hold, no,
Special.
but if you hold it with the others, I think presidential might be the cheapest because everybody votes on that one. But we do have a general election coming up this year.
Look into that, because I mean, it can be used for, some of the jail stuff too.
What's that?
110.
Oh, the 110?
I like how Kittitas uses theirs. And they create, it's like LTAC type thing where you present what you want to
Yeah.
do to get your funding, and then you have to track your results and then present the results and then apply again.
Right.
I like that way.
No, I think that would be great, because then they have to prove that they had actually used the funding and it was productive or useful or, I mean, I think that would be good.
So then you don't have to wait in the hallway, you can move in.
Oh, now that you were up there.
Yeah. Rob, I apologize. I just got your email. I wasn't my intent to give you guys 30 seconds to look at something. I was,
No, that was one of the comments that I made. I was just confused. I'll clear it up with you.
Do you think we should look into that with Daryl?
Yeah, we can ask him.
oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, it's
that's
been
right.
a request.
Well,
for
if,
5 years.
we could just
No, I'm all
do it, but I'm
all
like,
for it.
send it to the voters. It's,
Yeah,
No, I agree.
it's really their,
and if we're gonna put it on this year's, we probably need to move pretty quick.
Yeah.
And we could also allow a year or two of revenue to come in before, putting it out. Probably bring in 2.3 million or something.
what are we getting annually for the jail right now?
On the 310s? Well, I don't know what the total number was for this year, but it's been averaging about 6 million, 6.5 million.
Okay, so it'd be about 2 million.
So, of course, yeah. I mean, we're making debt payments with that. And
We're one of the lower.
I haven't done this for so long.
Sales tax
County, yes.
per county.
I can go back there and print off something.
I mean,
No, that's how I
Yeah,
looked
we
at
did
it
the-
a few years ago. Was,
Right.
like I pay more sales tax in Okanagan than we pay in Grant County.
Illegal.
and right now, we should have a good time to do it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you guys have a budget and finance right now?
Or not.
No, PMR, I think.
Oh, PMR. In 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So, go ahead, have a seat.
Any other topics?
So this is.
Well, I know, but I don't know if
mass
the
travel
printer's
for the
gonna
DC
print
travel. This is our ordinance
Prints,
for the whole
sometimes it
time.
doesn't.
You'll notice that the 19th is not listed. Because we are getting there, so the 19th is on me, so it's only for the per diem for the days that we're there for the conference. I just need a signature on that from you whenever you're ready up there, and then others who are going will get there. And I don't know if you wanted to do that too, or.
They requested me to be there the 2nd to the 5th too, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
So we want to is 11 o'clock. We're here for our position management review. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, I was concentrating on my typing. Okay, who would
Morning,
like to go first? You guys, district court? You want to go first? Okay.
Sure.
Why not? Do I come up there? Wherever you would like to be. Jonathan,
We're ready to
I
go.
will get out of the way. Here, I'll just like. Well, I know I have to like be, I want to be like caught on, whatever. Okay. So our request is to increase the hourly rate for our district court pro tem judge. And right now, we pay him $85 an hour, and we're requesting to increase it to $108.70. This is to keep up with the industry standards and be in line with what the current district court judges are making. Our district court pro tem judge does only work,
Hold on.
goodness gracious. Just kidding, Gene. Our district court pro tem judge does only work a standard 1 day for 1 docket a month. Unless like our other judges are gone out of training and he needs to come in and cover like some dockets. That usually happens maybe once to twice a year. We believe that this compensation should align with the qualifications and responsibility as the individual that is serving as the district court judge. For the current challenges and problems, the pro tem judge compensation rate has remained $85 an hour since 2019. And with the different scope of responsibilities that the pro tem judge holds, which is the same of that as the district court judge, with the judicial authority that they exercise and with the prevailing market standards, we believe that it's appropriate to adjust this rate to better align with judicial compensation and the current industry benchmarks to more match what a judge is making hourly. The details of our request is the district court pro tem judge position. It's already held position. It's not a new position that we're asking for. That works 1 day a month at minimum for conflict matters, as well as reviewing ex parte filings throughout the month as needed. That's if something comes in that can't be reviewed by any of our other judges. Additional days are sometimes requested due to a judge availability if they're away at training and coverage is needed. District court judges right now are making $108.70 an hour. And wage analysis was being completed by HR for pro tem judges. So the requested increase will not cause an overage to our current 2026 budget. We wouldn't be asking for any type of increase in our budget. We can cover it in our current budget that we have. And we're requesting that if it is approved to increase it, that we're also asking to tie it to our district court judges to when the judges get salary increases each year in July, that our district court pro tem judge also get that same hourly increase to match what the judges go up to each year. So we're not here in 6 years doing the same thing again when they haven't been increased. There are conflict matters that the district court judges are not able to hear that require a pro tem judge to hear to reduce the risk of impartiality and perceived impartiality. So pro tem judge is something that we do need to have. And the position does not require a dedicated workspace or any other additional expenses. Like I said, we would be using our current budget that we have allocated funds already for.
You know what the salary is for your, the judge? What am I thinking?
Yeah, our current district court judges, it is $108.70. What we're requesting is what they're currently making an hour.
not a judge, but a commissioner, what is your court commissioner? Don't you have a court commissioner?
We do have a court commissioner. I don't know off the top of my head, they make a percentage of what the judges make.
It's like 83.5.
Yeah, I think it's 83.5% of what a judge makes.
Who's your current pro tem?
Retired Judge Fitterer, Richard Fitterer.
And then, what's the cost annually, like last year?
Last year, we ended up spending on him total $2,550.
And not very often.
No, he has one docket set a month. And then if we have to have him cover other dockets with judges being gone.
And that docket's only 2 hours.
Yeah, he gets paid a 2-hour minimum. So if we pay him a 2-hour minimum and that docket goes over 2 hours, then it increases from there. But I don't think we've ever had to pay over the 2 hours for that docket minimum. Because these are just cases that our judges can't hear.
Do they have different duties than a court commissioner?
Different duties than a court
Well,
commissioner?
I'm trying to figure out the balance between a court commissioner. The difference between a court commissioner and a judge, like why you would not,
Why not use the commissioner's
commissioner's
pro
salary.
tem?
Because I'm looking like it's.
Because these are cases that none of our judges or commissioner can hear.
Okay, so
These
they're
are
a higher-
conflict matters, yeah,
Okay.
that for some reason or other, that nobody on our current bench are able to hear. Whether it's because our current commissioner was a prosecutor and a public defender, so if she was on the case, she can't hear those cases, or if for some reason our judges recuse for personal reasons or something.
But it's not because it's a higher level of a case.
Correct.
Okay, because I'm looking at Seattle for 2026, it's $67 to $79. Spokane, they get $125 for a half day of service per code. No, I'm just kind of looking at the rates. Okay.
Dakota, do you guys have comparable rates?
We didn't do comparable rates. We just focused on Superior Court, what their pro tem gets, and then the judges.
And what was theirs?
They are just up theirs to $67.85. They pay what the state reimbursement rate is. So I would anticipate that with this, if this one gets adjusted, that they would want to adjust, but I don't know if it's within their budget to do so.
What was the reason behind increasing this other than just matching the current sitting judges? Were comps used to to decide that, or just the choice of going to match the current judges?
We had looked at different district and municipal courts because we're a court of limited jurisdiction, and so courts of limited jurisdiction are district and municipal courts in the state. We follow the same guidelines as each other and are in the same association, and so we had looked at their rates, and the average kind of was around that amount. And our presiding judge requested that we increase to just try and get the status of people to match. Because if Judge Fitterer is no longer our judge and we are looking for somebody else to cover a case, or he can't cover one, we'd like to find somebody that will cover something that it'll be worth it for them to cover, you get what you pay for.
So Decorah, are we looking in the salary survey, would this position be a salary survey? Or no?
It is. It is not.
It is not, okay.
No, because it's an
So
hourly.
if this person's not needed 1 month, does that guarantee 2 hours not come into play?
No, if they're not used, they don't get paid.
Okay.
We have reduced the number of hours that he's needed down to pretty much only the 2 a month by utilizing our court commissioner for a lot of our conflicts. Because our court commissioner doesn't have any supervisory role within our office. They don't have any hiring or firing authority. So they hear a lot of the conflicts that the judges won't hear. So it's really, really limited to just the things that, you know, our judges and our commissioner truly can't hear. So those numbers are very, very limited. But the concern is definitely, we've gotten lucky with Judge Fitter. He does it because he wants to be here, because he used to work here, because he knows everyone, he enjoys coming in. I don't know that the money is as much of a concern for him, but definitely, like Brittany said, looking for hiring someone to be a pro tem to work 2 hours a month, what we pay is directly going to reflect the quality of candidate that we're going to get.
Corey, you said 6785 was Superior Court. Is that the county's portion and the state pays the same portion?
That is
Like
what the
the-
state pays, and they're not matching.
The Superior Court
That.
doesn't pay anything for a fill-in?
That's my understanding. Gina, is that correct? And did she have interest of increasing? Were you able to chat with Crystal about that?
I did, chat with her, she said that they rarely get used, and so she does have the budget for it. I think she budgeted like $2,000 for 2026. As far as the one, she just talked about increasing
To the 67.
So neither use it much. So
And I would agree that, you know, if you're paying a judge that and you have somebody coming in to do the work of your regular judges, just on an hourly rate, I would not be opposed to that increase. So it's a standard amount. And these are mostly criminal cases. They could be jury trials, you know, they could be anything. We're not talking like our parking tickets and traffic infractions. Generally, the commissioner would mostly take care of those.
Okay. There, if we're gonna do it for district court, we need to do it for Superior Court.
My concern, so
Well,
we're
yes,
open
it is
an alternative.
opening that door, so that is the caution of.
Yeah, it'll be on our agenda tomorrow to talk about it, so I don't have any other questions.
Okay, any other questions?
You did a great job
Accounting?
presenting, thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Thanks. We had a lot of questions on that one.
Yeah. Accounting, do you have any questions? Payroll? No questions? Okay. The only policy concern really was that it's not even a policy concern, but process is both departments or both offices staying equal. Okay, thank you. Next. Susie, would you like to go next?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New Hope is requesting to put in an additional advocate to our roster. We need an advocate who can help out with some of the housing resources that advocates do to support survivors. We got additional funding through the CHG grant that the county works and subcontracts with us to distribute out to survivors. And the additional advocate position will pretty much do exclusive to housing work. The current challenges are capacity. So the growing number of requirements and paperwork that HUD is requiring and Department of Commerce is requiring puts an additional burden on our advocates who are already doing advocacy work. So this additional FTE will relieve that capacity issue to take on all of the paperwork related to HUD. The HUD paperwork goes into like pretty deep categories of emergency financial assistance, rapid rehousing, homelessness prevention, and hotel and motel vouchers. And each one of those 4 programs is a packet that is probably 20 to 25 pages long for intake. It's pretty intense. There's also some data entry that you have to get special training for through HMIS. It's a data system to meet HUD requirements. Funding is not a current challenge. We have the money in our current budget, the budget that was approved in 2026 to cover this position. So, yeah, the request, benefits to the department. Did you skip a slide?
Yeah, I did, sorry.
There we go. Yeah, the request, as noted with the required slides we need to have for this, pretty much cut to the chase. We need an advocate. It's already in the budget. Benefits to our department is that all of this will strengthen the stability of advocacy work being done by our survivors so that not only can regular advocacy happen, the housing advocacy piece can happen, and then it's a teammate helping out a teammate with all of the paperwork and requirements. So the cost and budget impact, the estimated salary and benefits is about $80,000, and we already have that in our budget. Is it sustainable? Yes. Our department has flexibility with funders to be able to move back and forth in and out of CHG funding or our domestic violence funding, or as long as they're an advocate, we have some flexibility with funders. And then the funds that are allocated in this specific budget through the county are set for the next 2 years, and they do look favorable for continuing with Department of Commerce. Questions?
I don't have any, thank you.
What's the salary for that position?
I estimated the salary and benefits together at about $80,000 to $85,000. That's what was in our budget. The hourly rate there is $26.96.
And the housing advocate would find housing or find funding for more housing?
Not find funding. We have the funds to help pay for the hotel motel or the rapid rehousing. They would work with the advocate who's connected with the survivor. If that survivor identifies housing crisis, then the housing advocate would step in and help out with all the paperwork that's required.
In a housing crisis, how long do you house someone?
It depends on the situation. Emergency shelter in our shelter could be anywhere from 1 night to 6 months. Helping someone with hotel motel could happen like a week or so. That's about average. And then if we help with rapid rehousing or homelessness prevention, which is essentially helping someone pay their rent, we can do that up to 3 months.
How much do you allocate now to the total amount to those programs?
This is the first year that we would be able to add that advocate position. It's about $300,000 a year. This year has a little bit of an increase to about $400,000 a year.
I guess that was just my curiosity, is if, the 8,500,000 would be better used, just flowing straight through to be used, so.
There's some categories and requirements. You have to put some towards staffing, you have to put some towards housing, and some towards supplies, overhead. There's designated categories.
When you put someone in housing that you keep, do you reimburse New Hope out of those grants, or do you just pay the housing with the grant?
We just pay the housing. Rent, utilities. Our shelter is a rental, so.
Yeah.
You work with other property owners for that purpose?
Yes, we do. Lots of them.
Any questions?
So you said some of that funding will go to staffing. Do you know the percentage that's gonna go to this new position?
We allocate the exact salary and benefits amount, which I don't have the exact amount. It's in my budget. It's between $80,000 and $85,000.
Okay, just for the position. out
for
of
that
the grants
position.
or,
Yes.
okay.
Anything further from the board?
I don't have any.
I don't have any.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
Okay.
And good luck on that CHG grant.
Thanks.
We appreciate how you work to get those grants.
Thank you.
Bill, I didn't see you in here. You like snuck in and you were hiding.
Hi, Dan.
Yep.
Sure.
Thank you, Susie.
Thanks, Susie.
Thank you, Susie.
This request is for a backfill for a therapist position that was, the vacancy was rather recent. The individual that's currently in the spot works at the Quincy office and tendered their resignation. So the request is for a backfill, and I will turn it over to Dell to speak to the justification section.
Great. Thank you. Good morning. So this position, as Dan stated, is a mental health therapist at our Quincy location. This position takes most of the referrals for youth coming from Quincy High School and Quincy Middle School through partnership with the school district, as well as they cover over in Mattawa for individuals that prefer not to see a female therapist, so is able to put a male over there at some point in the week as well. We have a caseload of about 55 individuals, and so we're looking to repost this position so that we can quickly fill it, hopefully, and maintain the caseloads and continue the partnerships that we have across the school districts between Quincy and Mattawa offices. I don't know if there are any specific questions about it. I'd be open to any that you have.
I have none.
Counting? Payroll?
So, I might be like totally off here, but last week you were requesting a backfill as well. Is it the same kind of position?
No.
No? That's where my confusion came from.
I don't have.
That's the only question I had.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
How many staff in Quincy are doing this?
Great, I need to probably get back to you on the number of that, but we have, I want to say 5 therapists over there.
And a 55-person caseload.
Mhm.
So you're seeing a few people over there.
Yes.
No, I'm in favor of continuing the service.
As far as reason for leaving, we're struggling from a market perspective with individuals that are the telehealth platform, so that our therapists that are licensed can now join a telehealth platform, and they pay about $120 an hour. And so those therapists who get their training, get licensed, are starting to jump to go to these telehealth platforms. They can work full-time from home. The thing they're not looking at, though, is that these platforms don't pay any benefits. So they're getting this great hourly rate where they're only paid when they actually see people, and there's no benefits attached to it. So they have to fund that for themselves. And I think they're seeing the dollar figure of the hourly rate, but I don't think they're thinking until later down the road what the benefits actually cost them.
I was gonna say, have you had any of those come back?
Not yet, but I
I'm
would
sure they
anticipate it
once
will
they figure out
happen.
how expensive the healthcare is and retirement. and-
Grass isn't always greener on the other
No.
side.
Thank you, Dell.
Thanks,
Yeah, I have
Dell.
no questions.
I think you're thinking the SCD clinical supervisor.
So you'll bring this to us tomorrow?
All of
Yeah, I'm in
these
favor.
tomorrow. And you only had the one?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And then Jonathan, you got one early this morning, so we can go ahead and do that one if you want to.
Sure, yes. So this morning, let's see here, Benjamin Rodwell, who is an election deputy in the auditor's department, tendered his resignation. He is set to depart on the 20th of this month. And Michelle is requesting a backfill of that position. So that way we can get it filled by April elections, because she informed me that once ballots start coming in the office, there needs to be 2 people with the ballots at all times. So having that third person allows one of them to take a break or to go to lunch or whatnot. So she's confident that we could get the position filled to meet before the April election deadline. So.
Do you know if that position, the backfill of it, or let me back up. The needing to have 2 people there, do her volunteer staff that come in to help count ballots, does that count as?
I
Those
don't
2
have that
people?
information.
Okay,
I
just
could
curious.
ask, but from reading her email, it's talking about once ballots come in, doesn't matter during the day when their staff present, there needs to be at least 2 people at all times, and it's illegal for one of them to go on a break and have only one person there. So there has to be 2 people there at all times. So as far as with that question, I'd have to ask.
Find out that
Yep,
information
I
and bring it back
can.
tomorrow?
Most definitely. I can have it for tomorrow.
I know when they pick up the ballots, I'm not sure if it's somebody that's already been trained on how to handle ballots and like a volunteer. Because other times they kind of divide and conquer. But I do believe, I don't know if they have to be an employee, but they have to be trained on how to pick up ballots and how to handle.
Right.
A really good question. To Jonathan, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And the ballots are sacred with all the.
So how many employees are in the election department right now currently?
3.
3. So if we lose one, then we don't have that ability to have
Right,
2
there's only 2.
at all times.
They're not allowed to be in the office with ballots.
With only 2 people, I guess my next question for the auditor would be, what happens when somebody's sick in her department? How is that 2 requirement covered?
Probably somebody would need to come in, probably Michelle would probably come in.
Yeah, what was the
During-
2-person
During
required
that
thing?
period, when the
It's just-
ballots were there, that
It's
if
only
someone is sick, yeah.
ballots are sitting in there. Is that correct? It's
Sorry.
only, that only that requirement is only when there's ballots in the elections office.
Actively being
Actively
sorted.
So
Yeah.
Like they can sit there,
So she
locked
So
up.
her request is to
safely.
get the position filled before April at the next
that makes
collection of ballots.
Is there only a 2-week window or maybe a month, but before they certify, when they start picking them up and when they certify? I think that is the period of time that they can't be. That would be a good question, unattended.
I will get that answer for you.
So there's not ability to still change.
Any other questions? No? Board, any more questions?
I have none.
Okay. We'll move on to the next one then. Excuse me, the next one also came in this morning for backfill of the clerk of the board. The clerk has resigned her position with the Grant County for 2/28/26. So the request is to backfill that position.
Thank you for bringing that as a walk-on.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm in
you're
favor
very
of that. Yeah.
Any questions from accounting or payroll? Process questions? No? Okay. Any questions from the board?
No, haven't been discussed, no.
Okay. And I will bring that one back tomorrow as well. Okay, that's what we have for you today.
time. 11:29.
You guys are good.
Did it. Okay, thank you.
All right, so that's all we got. We'll go into recess until.
What?
Wait, it goes to 12. I'm on my calendar 11 to 12.
Mine's 11 to 11:30.
Mine's 11 to 11:30.
Oh, I'm looking at this.
All right,
Okay.
very good. I was reading the wrong day.
All right.
We don't know what we're doing. We're just
Are we
saying.
out or are we in?
We're out. You're the
Okay, we're
boss.
going out. 11:29.
For joining us.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Never.
Hit our.
All right. You want to start us off?
Yeah, actually, Caitlin, thank you for the lunch. It was
Yes,
fabulous.
thank you.
Daryl's idea. Thanks, Dale.
Really? Daryl?
Everyone else while this toppings just absorb into the crust for later, so I don't need something different.
Well, thank you, Daryl.
Appreciate it. It's very good.
We all appreciate it. Tom, I just thought I would read this, but I don't think I can get through it. Today marks the 30-year anniversary of the shooting of Moses Lake. So if we could just say 30 seconds, and if you don't mind reading, somebody actually reached out to me and to see if we could I want to thank Tom for taking the time to put it on our Facebook page. If you want to read it, he put something up. My eyes are terrible. Or you can kind of look online, but if you could take 30 seconds to.
Good. Okay, we're gonna move on to Blair's presentation.
Yeah, so just want to give everyone a heads up on 3/11 of next month. There will be a training over at Public Works from 1 to 3. This will be a leadership training for all elected officials, department heads, and then supervisors, or anyone that you think would be is a leader or will be a leader in the future. This will be put on by WCRG. It's called SAR 52. It's about the Air Force in Spokane, 1994, where they had a plane crash, and it's what the Air Force learned about risk management and accountability and their leadership. It is actually a phenomenal training. Love to see all you guys there. Thank you to Public Works for letting us use their location. So we look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you to the commissioners for allowing this training. So if you have any questions, come see me afterwards.
Okay, thank you, Blair. Again.
The 11th, I'll send it out.
All right, Caitlin,
All right.
all you.
Okay. Hello. For the last year and a half now, our office has been working with tech services and a consultant to get the commissioners switched over to a digital consent agenda. So we are just about at that point of getting that started. I wanted to start by giving you guys a little reason behind it, why we're changing this. Our end goal is to have a fully digital process from start to finish. And the benefits of this, when the process is fully live, it'll be easier to submit consent requests, to finalize documents with digital signatures, to find those finalized documents, both for the staff and for the public, to get legal and accounting review through this digitized process. And Grant County will be keeping up with technology. This is the time that we're in now, is digital born, digital stored. So we're trying to keep up with it. You'll still find it in the same place. It'll be on the intranet, commissioners. But when you click on the link, it'll bring you to a form that looks like this. This is the first page of it. I'm going to go through this step by step with this PowerPoint. I'll also be sending this PowerPoint out to you guys after this luncheon so you can distribute it to the people that actually fill out these consent requests. I know not many of you do them yourselves. So the first page, contact info, it's pretty basic. You put the requesting department. For the week of start date, this is the week that you are wanting it to be on consent. So typically, you guys are submitting them for the following week, but if you have something where, and it's happened a couple of times, you're not going to be here next week, so you won't be able to give the commissioners information, you can put that you want it to be the following week. That'll indicate to us that, we need to hold it. Submitters contact info, pretty straightforward, who is filling it out. For additional staff contact info, that's other people that should be notified about the final action. So if you know, if Tom's filling it out, but he wants Vanessa to get a notification whether it's approved or denied, he can put her information there to get notifications about it. And you can add more people if you want several people to hear. And that is that add button right there. And then you'll click next. It'll take you to this next page. This is a lot, so I'm going to zoom in because I know it's really hard to see on there. So this first section here is the legal and accounting review. The goal for this is when this is fully live, if you were to click yes on both of those sections, legal and accounting, both of those groups, office and department, can review this concurrently. And the clerks will be able to see on the other side where your request is at. So if you've submitted this request but you're not hearing anything, you can reach out to us and we can look in our inbox to see who's got it. If accounting has approved it but legal hasn't, something like that. If you've already had this reviewed, which I know is the case for several people, you can check previously reviewed and we know that it's done. Confidential information, pretty straightforward.
Question.
Yes.
So just, if it goes to the prosecuting attorney's office, does it just go to a general box and then you divvy it to the right person? Since multiple offices have different people representing them?
This is something that we'll be working on. It'll be TS and us working with legal and accounting on how they want it distributed. Because I don't know that there is a good way to set it up to send to, like, you know, your specific reviewing attorney.
The good news is we do have a legal assistant now specifically for our civil department. So if it does have to go, I don't know how they would prefer it, but she would be able to centralize it or send it to whoever.
The next bit, requested action and type of request. We're looking for 1 or 2 words. So your requested action is you want the commissioners to sign something. You want them to approve something. You want them to give you permission to do something. And then the type of request, right? You want a contract, out-of-state travel, reimbursement, something like that. So the goal is if you read those 2 blocks together, it makes sense. I want you to approve my out-of-state travel request. I want you to sign this contract. Give me permission to sign. Okay? Are you wanting to spend or receive any funds? If you check no, this fiscal impact box won't be there, just to help with ease of digesting that form. If you check yes, these 2 sections pop up. How much money are you looking to spend or receive? And the fiscal impact of it. So, for example, this is an agreement for something to be paid from BOCC fund, whatever. Or if it's a grant, you would say this is a grant from somebody for whatever services. Your next section here, is there a date associated with the request? If you check yes, these 2 blocks pop up, your start date and end date. They are not a required field. So if it's a 1-day thing, you're going to be traveling for 1 day, you can put an associated start date and we'll figure it out. Or you can put an associated start and end date that is the same, something like that. We tried to make it relatively user-friendly so you won't get locked up if there's something there that doesn't fit what you're needing to fill out.
Most contracts come with a beginning term date, so what is your term of your agreement? That's kind of what that's for.
And then will this require a public hearing? This is for the clerks. If you check yes, that will indicate to us that we need to reach out to you to schedule a public hearing if your request is approved. And we have an unknown button there, so if you don't know, we can figure it out. Consent agenda, item, background, and summary. I filled in that box there, just so you guys know. This is where you would type in the information that you currently put on your consent agenda request. So important information, which would include any entities involved, if there's a contract number, things like that. But you now no longer need to fill out your start and end date for the contract term or your fiscal impact because you've already done that. And then you'll click next. For document upload, again, I'm going to zoom in on each one of these sections, so don't try to strain your eyes. The first bit, does this document require a signature? If you check no, that's it. Nothing else pops up. If you check yes, that the commissioners need to sign, you'll indicate the page that requires the commissioner's signature. The hope is that when this is fully digital, it'll jump the commissioners right to the page, so that way they don't have to scroll through the whole thing to find where they're trying to sign. And if you check yes, someone in lieu of commissioners, this is where you would put that you want, Gary Mansford to sign on behalf of the board, something like that. And the same thing, signature page locations for the records.
Hey, Caitlin, I'm
Yes.
assuming that you can use commas in that, so if there's signature pages that are like on page 3 and page 7, you can just do that.
Yes, yep, we left it as a text field rather than a number field, so you can put page numbers listed out like that. For the document type, there are quite a lot of document types there. Each one may or may not pop up an additional prompt. I'm gonna come back to that so I can show you guys on a live screen rather than trying to have 16 slides that show you all the different prompts that might pop up. But you will notice that in this document upload section, you can only upload one document at a time. And the reason why we did this is so that way if you have multiple documents, but only one is confidential, you can label that one as confidential. You don't need to label the entire section. This also is set up so that way we can add a help letter later on. So if you have just your contract that is confidential, the clerks can go in and put the notice for the public saying that it's confidential. And this is also set up so if you have multiple supplemental documents that go with your request, you don't need to try to merge them yourself. We'll do each one separately this way. And there's that big blue add button there for you to add more. So you have two options moving forward. The save as draft, I'm sure you've noticed, is at the bottom of every single one of those pages. You can save this as a draft at any point. If you do check save as draft, this little pop-up will show up in the center of your screen. You can change the draft name if you want to, you don't have to. And the email address, I believe, will just autofill to the submitter's email address. But if you want this to go to somebody else, like you don't know all the information and now I want Barb to finish filling this out for me, you can designate it to go that way. When you click save, you'll get an email. Please note it comes from forms@grantcountywa.gov. There is the banner at the top saying that it's an external email. So if you don't see anything relatively quickly, you should check your junk. It shouldn't get blocked, but it might. And it's a very straightforward, your draft has been saved, click here to complete your form. The other thing you can do is click submit, right? And you get this cute little thank you, your form has been submitted. If you have another one to fill out, there's a submit another request that is a hyperlink. It'll take you back to the beginning of the form, totally blank. You can start another one. And then you also have the download, print, and email option there if you want to save a copy of your request for your records. So this is what the legal review page will look like. As far as I'm aware, it will not be available for the public to view. So if legal does have a concern and they check deny and they fill out a reason why, it won't be available for the public to see. So we'll be protecting the attorney-client privilege there. We're still working on what it's going to look like if legal does deny it. I believe that it'll get sent back to the requester for the requester and legal to correspond outside of this workflow about what the issue is. And the accounting review page looks very similar. So for both of them, you'll fill out the staff name. It's a digital sign. The date will be captured when you submit your signature there. If you check approve, I believe that nothing else pops up for legal. For accounting, obviously notes if applicable. That would be where accounting would put that you need a public hearing for a budget extension or something along those lines. Okay, so here's the thing. We can change just about anything with this form, within reason. I put in small text there. It's a very flexible form. When it comes to the distribution of the forms after it's been submitted, that's a little trickier. But for your guys' end and how you work through this form, we're flexible. We can change it to be what will work best for the majority of you. So the next step is beta testers, specifically those that are up for challenging us. So obviously everybody in this room loves change and we all love being a part of it and supporting it. But we would really like for people to test it and tell us what does not work. Public Works has so valiantly been voluntold that they're going to do it. But I would really, really like 1, 2, maybe 3 other offices and departments that want to help test out this form, especially those of you that are just really not super thrilled about changing things. You don't have to volunteer right now. If you want to send me an email after this, that would be fine. If I don't hear anything from all of you in the next week or so, you'll see another email from me. And after that, then I'll start volunteering all of you.
You need to put us down. What do we do?
Okay, thank you. Great. Okay. So then, the timeline for this, our beta testing is going to begin this month, here within the next couple weeks. After receiving feedback from the testers, we'll make some changes, tweak it to be more user-friendly for you guys. Once the changes are complete, we'll offer an additional training for those staff that you have that submit those consent agenda requests. And then a hard launch would be 1 or 2 weeks after that training. Really just depends on how it goes, what tweaks we need to make, and what that looks like. Okay, what questions do you have? I brought Keith here, so if you have any hard questions, he can answer them.
I'll say, as far as my office is concerned, I am the most pro anti-paper person probably in the county. So I think that this is great. It's the first time I've heard about it, so
I just don't have time to see it.
anything that we can do to get away from paper, please.
I think it'll be great.
I make a mission to bring you paper every time I see you.
People put sticky notes in my office just to pester me.
At this point, we just kind of do
Now that I know
this.
I just ordered a whole bunch of sticky notes.
Feel free to drop them by Brandon's office.
I know what to get him for Christmas.
Caitlin, is there any plans to go beyond consent agenda and have other items submitted digitally in the future?
Like what?
Well, like hearings and all the other material we put on the agenda.
Yes. Yeah. So the long-term goal with this, you guys will submit your consent agenda requests and Laserfish will spit out an agenda for the clerks. So it'll save us time on our end. We don't have to type it out every single week. It's also going to auto-generate minutes for us. So if you guys, like for the comprehensive plan amendments, when you guys already know the motions that are going to need to be made, we can type it out ahead of time and the form will spit out the minutes ready to go with the motions already typed out for us. And then, yeah, the hope is that we'll be able to integrate multiple ways that you can submit documents to us for the board to see through these workflows.
Is this a forms package that's easy to use for other forms in other departments?
Yes, it is. There is a licensing component that has to be met though. You'd have to have a full license for Laserfish to be able to create forms.
How much is that?
It's going subscription, it's just under $700 a year for full license. So it reduces the upfront burden of a large cost, but it's the same thing over time, so.
And Jim, they do provide training. We just have to get to, I think it's in Las Vegas. We just have to get to the training, but the training is provided. Laserfish does.
I'll volunteer to go to
Do
Las
we all get
Vegas.
to go?
There's also, as anybody who's interested in learning how to do it, there is free online training through Laserfish's website, and it's very comprehensive.
I like the Vegas option.
Sorry, I threw that out there.
Who wants to go with me?
Our budget says the free option.
Yeah, go to Vegas, do it in your hotel room, the online option. Yeah.
Tom, you want to go to Vegas?
The Vegas option is really great for add-on after you learn how to do this stuff, and then you can get into some real advanced stuff at those, and they're great.
But you can't go to Vegas until after you've done that.
There we go. I like that. I like
So
that.
all I have to do is do that and I can go to Vegas. I agree.
Well, Caitlin has kind of taken this project on, so thank you, Caitlin, for doing this. And she would probably be more than willing to help because Caitlin is always very accessible to helping other departments and offices. So
Now I throw it to our clerk of the board for an update.
I am not as helpful as Caitlin, as Cindy just said. I'm not big on change. I don't like change, but Caitlin has taken this by the horns and she's ran with it. So please give her the patience and the grace, you know, to get through this because it's not gonna be easy. Change is always difficult, but change is opportunity. On that note, change is opportunity. So I officially resigned as my position this morning for the clerk of the board. My last day is February 28th. And so I'm glad that she is so tech savvy and she's just gonna blaze forward with this awesome new project. And she's been fantastic. What she has done here with this has been amazing. You've done a great job. So you deserve every kudos that you get. So it's been an absolute pleasure working with all of you, and I'll be here for the next month. So let me know if you have any questions as we transition with things. You know, we'll be available to make the transition easier. So again, 21 years here is a long time, and I just felt it was time. So move on to different things.
I don't like that announcement. Ooh.
Back to Caitlin, let's see.
Denied.
I already told her that.
Does that mean you can help the entirety of fair this year?
Oh, hey, maybe.
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of you for a long time, and it's been fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
Yeah.
Thank
Barb.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your years of service. You'll be missed.
We have an office.
But you have sticky, you don't like sticky notes
I
and
don't like
paper and
sticky
things
notes.
like that.
I do.
You don't like paper. She likes paper.
We appreciate all your hard work for us, Barb.
Thank you very much.
We definitely hate to see you go, though.
But we'd love to watch you leave.
I didn't say that. You did.
Hey, there's some elected positions that might come open too. You could, run for one.
Never in my entire life that I've ever run for an elected office. Not a chance.
Everybody's speechless. Yeah.
Might make everybody sad.
That is.
What date's the goodbye party? Is there,
Yes, we're right now
on
looking at
that
the
date, right?
28th.
Okay. 28. So what are your plans, dear?
I will discuss them offline.
Okay.
Are we online?
Yeah.
Oh. I guess we do have 4 other attendees. It's probably all of us.
It's me twice in this room and Barb.
And all our friends on, we have quite the YouTube following, I'm sure.
Open it up for anybody else that has any comments.
So we're still going fun on the jail?
It's going great on the jail.
You want an update on the coroner's office too?
Coroner's office is at 90% of design. Leidig is currently pricing it to present a GMP. A little bit worried about how much that's going to be. But have a meeting with the city this week to talk about the pre-application meeting we had. There's one thing we're pushing back on. Not sure if we're going to be successful, but it's moving right along. In 3 weeks, Craig, I think 2.5, 3 weeks, will be moving into work release as their temporary facility until we get his new place built. Samaritan Hospital still doesn't quite know what they're going to do with the hospital. There's still some people talking to them about buying it, but none of that has been done, so they're not sure what their plan is going to be for that. But we're moving forward with the coroner's office. Jail is still under budget, doing great. Architect is here all this week doing a punch list, which is a huge milestone for the jail. And we'll be getting together a lot this week to discuss finances and jail and coroner and follow on to that.
So maybe our next elected official department head luncheon or gathering, we could have a jail tour. Could make it really exciting. They're probably going to be in.
We could, the next one, we should just plan on doing it up at the jail.
I don't want the jail food though.
We'll save money, they say. We can have the Nutriloaf.
They have the nicest kitchen around.
Obviously, we need to put Daryl. We'll put Daryl in charge of
Well,
food.
if the oven chicken bakes where we can get thin crust and then
If the commissioners want to authorize a food truck, I can get a food truck to show up there and feed us all. I mean, if we're gonna.
We'll talk. I feel like Daryl's getting a little generous in his last few months here in office.
Yeah.
He may allow us to have a few truck.
We'll do that.
Either though, it does take up parking spots.
No, up at the jail, we do it up at the
Oh,
jail.
jail.
That would be kind of fun, something different.
Still be sales tax to the city.
Maybe the truck can park outside of the city limits. Thanks for thinking of us, Daryl.
All right, does anybody else have anything?
Grant County Fair, August 18th through the 22nd, just so you know.
Thanks, Jim.
It's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up. I think we actually have a contract now for Easton Corbin, so I think Trevor got it. Yay.
Kids are gonna get animals here pretty soon.
I think it's good.
Go ahead, Kim.
Go ahead, Kim.
So on the agenda was a discussion about access control process. And what that is regarding is I had asked Kevin for a report a while back about who has badge access to my office. And there's only 17 of us in the office, but when I got the report, it had 166 people that have access to my office. And so I'm not complaining, I'm not pointing fingers. There's a lot of people that have access to our offices that we maybe didn't think about. Del Sol, TS, I mean, there's a lot of different people that come and go. But that seemed surprising to me. And I wondered why some of the people that were on the list had access. I just thought it would be worth a discussion. Maybe we can discuss it more down the road if anybody else wants to get reports to see who has access to their offices. My thought was that when we get a new hire, they get access to the office that they are working in. And if they need access to other areas within the facilities, that there be some kind of a process to request that, or a standard list of, you know, I don't know, if it's a new Del Sol person, they get access to the places Del Sol goes. If they're a new TS person, they get access to everywhere. But maybe come up with some standardized processes for that so that we're not surprised by who's coming and going from our areas. So I just wanted to throw it out there, let people know if you want to get a report.
Were everyone on the list still a county employee, or was it including people who are no longer county employees?
How many of them were sheriff deputies?
A lot of them were sheriff, a lot of them
I'd be
were,
surprised if they were no longer county employees, if that card was active. I'd have to look into that.
yeah, some of them were listed but did say inactive.
Inactive, right.
There was somebody on the list
So just
for my
because it's on
office.
there doesn't mean that.
Yeah, there was somebody on the list for my office that I have no clue who the person is, so.
I just want to say that's one of the reasons why up in TS, we really want you guys, if someone ends their employment with the county, we need to know as soon as possible, because when we deactivate their accounts, it also deactivates their access to the building as well. So while the cards might still exist out there, if they're deactivated, they can't get in, so.
And that's the great part, I think, about having the badges, is that we can add people and take people off quickly if
So is there
TS is
coordination
notified.
when we have people retire? Is there coordination that the forms they fill out for the final retirement gets coordinated and sent to you, or is it supposed to be a separate notice?
HR has been really good with letting us know that people have left employment of the county. There still occasionally is a lag time between maybe when they get notification that someone is gone. So as soon as we find out, we will terminate that account as quickly as possible. But it all comes down to communication from the departments and the offices to let people know that these people are no longer employed and their access needs to be terminated.
It's really important for us to know from elected officials. It's not, I mean, if an elected official hires or lets somebody go, we need to know that right away. And so, you know, if somebody's, well, in the past, somebody said, well, that's HR's job. And I don't necessarily agree with that, especially if HR's person is on vacation and we don't know about it for 2 or 3 days. Sometimes we need to know that right away. And it's just not too much to ask to have an elected official say, hey, by the way, this person's last day is next week. You know, we need that PAR anyway. So it would be really helpful.
I can see a problem with, I would have been considered a problem where not turning in the FAR request by the date of them leaving. And then, of course, that would create the lag. And so if we're not going to turn in the FAR reports timely, then we better make a separate notice to TS about it.
Yeah, it can be as simple as a ticket to help desk, say, you know, employee so-and-so has ended their employment or whatever verbiage you want to use. And that their access needs to be terminated immediately.
And I would recommend, sorry, Tom, I would recommend that when you get the notice of resignation, that you immediately inform TS that that's coming, so they can do their piece.
More and more, everything we do for access control is
escorted out
through TS, so it's a one-stop shop for taking care of 99% of the stuff that's out there. We still, every once in a while, get a request from somebody that says, oh, by the way, we hired this person, they started today and he needs a computer. Please don't do that. That's really difficult.
And
We can't support that. I'm sorry?
Piggyback off of that, we purchased NeoGov last year and we created checklists for all the departments. One of the pre-boarding checklist task will go out to the hiring manager, which is most of you in this room, to submit that ticket. The task will go to your email and it has the link to the form directly, so you really don't have to go look for it or anything. And it is a required task for onboarding. That is a new process that we've started. Marissa in the clerk's office was our first test person. So that will hopefully help remind people that that is a required process before they start.
And if you have, you know, an emergency, just give us a call directly.
3301.
They can't get it into Active Directory fast enough, we can very quickly disable somebody's access card, so.
I've had 2 instances of needing to disable those quickly, and PS has been all over it, so thank you.
Oh, good discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Kim, for bringing this
Daryl's,
one.
when's your last day? Do we need to put that notice in a couple weeks ahead of time to?
I have not made it. Something may happen in a couple of months.
So now we're gonna be playing like tag, looking to see whose door gets opened by our. This one works, this one doesn't, yes, no.
Well, I would add, you know, since we're gonna talk about that, I would ask all elected officials too, to talk to your employees and say, please don't piggyback, right? I mean, if somebody opens a door, we still want them to swipe their card as they're coming and going from the building, because from, you know, an emergency services standpoint, if we have an evacuation and if afraid of fire says, I need to know how many people were in the building, that's the one way we have to generate a report saying we've got 237 people in the building. But if everybody's just walking right by that card reader because somebody opened the door for them, we don't have a record of them being in the building. So please have people scan in. And the time clocks are, believe it or not, as much as I hate the thought of time clocks, the time clocks are going to help us with that. So.
Well, the nice thing too is when you swipe your card, it makes a record of it, so you know who's been in your office and how long they're there.
Yeah, and Kevin and I talked about that a little bit, that, you know, the security cameras are picking that up too, but if somebody has access and you don't know they have access and something happens, you don't necessarily know when to go back to look at security footage to see what's what's happening.
None of those are perfect systems, but I can tell you, doing a report on card key access is about 10 times faster than scrubbing video, trying to figure out what time somebody showed up or didn't show up.
And we only keep the video for 2 weeks.
So we have one person go to the door. And then the door is open. And all the rest.
Just get your badge.
Right, but it's, okay, that's assuming the door is not already open for public. And so you're putting a thing through something that doesn't actually open the door, you have a separate device?
Sorry, I missed part of that.
Well, just
Daryl,
say-
just as you walk in, even if the door is open, just scan your card. Even if the door is open, just scan it, scan it.
Oh, that was gonna be my question. So if I swipe my badge and open the door and I hold it for the next person, if they swipe, even though the door's already open, if they swipe their badge, it registers. Okay, I've never tried that.
And again, it's not perfect, but at least it gives us some idea that, oh, we have, 171 people in the building.
Yeah.
You can still be nice by holding the door open.
Yeah.
Just say scan your tag.
100%.
So if you're an employee who doesn't have any access at all, is that something we should have? My badge doesn't work anywhere.
That was on purpose. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We need to look at all the access.
Okay.
So tell him, does Kevin have access? Does Kevin have a list of all the access?
Yes.
So we probably just need to review that and.
Yeah, we can generate a report.
Okay.
You have access to your building.
Yeah, so, see ya. Go back to where my work.
Thank you all for attending.
That's it. We're gonna go to recess.